Hello everyone and welcome to episode 8 of Pod 'em Up, and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Tibbs.
Merry Christmas, Ollie. It's Christmas.
It is Christmas. It's and other similar holidays if you don't celebrate Christmas.
Yeah.
Because we're all different. We're all different in this lovely world of gaming.
Yes.
Are we not?
Absolutely. Yes. Us in particular, I think we're.
Yeah. So are you in the festive spirits?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
I'm back to work the day after Boxing Day, so it's not really much of a, you can't really get into the festive spirit when it's just, the weekend, and then you're back.
Yeah. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah. I'm quite lucky. I've got quite a bit of time off over Christmas. Partly holiday saved up, partly just sort of my office doesn't open over Christmas, so or between Christmas and New Year rather. So yeah, it's not too bad. Got some family time, which is good. Yeah, all good.
Feeling festive? Got the tree up?
We do have the tree up, yeah. My wife's done a really, really good job, actually. We've got quite a nice fake tree, because we thought it'd be worth investing in one that sort of lasts, several years, and she's got some nice decorations. Looks really good. Yeah. She showed a photo of it to someone in her work, and that person said it looks like a hotel Christmas tree.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Which is quite a good compliment, I think. Hotel
Apparently,
Christmas tree.
Real trees are covered in spiders.
Are they? What, this year in particular, or just in general?
I don't know if it's like a new thing they brought out this year, or if it's been around for a while.
Now with extra spiders, yeah.
But yeah, someone posted it was something on Twitter, so you take it with a boulder of salt. But apparently there's little spiders, tiny ones, like small as the head of a pin, and there's millions of them, and they all live on Christmas trees. And you bring them into your house.
Do they?
They go everywhere.
That's where they come from, then.
Yeah.
Oh, right, I did not know that. No. Okay, you learn something every day. So, what have you been up to, gaming-wise?
Hitman 2. Been playing a lot of Hitman 2. Yeah.
Yeah?
I really like it, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, I don't like the... It's got this always online thing.
Yeah. They had a bit of that in Hitman 1, did they not? I got the impression from the interface, yeah.
They've really doubled down on it with this one, like...
Have they?
With Hitman 1, it was basically you're scoring. If you're you want to get the rankings, you get a score ranking based on how well you've done in the mission. If your connection dropped, or there was any interruption, or the server dropped out, you wouldn't get scored on doing the mission. You could only score while you were connected online. With this one, and I really don't remember this being the case in Hitman 1. I haven't gone back to check. The save games are actually separated. So if you start a game offline, you can't then continue it online, and vice versa. So if you start doing a mission online, and then later on your internet's down, or for whatever reason, you want to play it offline, you can't pick up that save and continue. You have to start again. So it's like the offline and online modes are completely separate. Yeah, it's really...
That's really, really stupid, isn't it?
It's really stupid.
This obsession with online stuff, especially for just a single-player game, is just... It's unnecessary, isn't it?
Really
it just adds complication.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, the game doesn't benefit anything from being online. I mean...
No, that's what I don't understand. Why does it even need to be online?
No, I know. It's... Yeah. But yeah, it's the one blight on an otherwise excellent game. It really is.
Okay.
It's very good. Very good game.
Okay.
And I've been playing a lot of Tetris Effect.
Yeah.
I was thinking it really might be my game of the year. I have to be honest. It's a real surprise.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow. It's that good.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people say it's amazing.
It really is. Yeah. It's considering it's Tetris, and I don't think I had super high expectations for it, but it's really surprised me how good it actually is. So that's been taking up the majority.
So what is it about it that makes it so good?
It's an odd thing to say for a Tetris game, but it's the atmosphere. Yeah. You wouldn't think a Tetris game could have an atmosphere, but the visuals that surround the playfield, and the music and the way it interacts, the music will change according to how well you're doing, and every time you drop a block, it will play. Like in Res, every time you fired a bullet or fired a projectile, it would make like a percussion sound, or like a little snare or something like that, and it would kind of so all your actions were integrating with the background music.
Mm.
It's got that kind of thing with the Tetris block. So every time you shift a block or drop it, it will play a little sample that all kind of melds with the music really organically. It's hard to explain. It's an experience. And especially if you play it in the VR,
Yeah.
it's incredibly immersive. It's a really good game.
Mm. Yeah, I did play it very briefly when they had that demo out, and it was you could tell it was something special. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
How about you? What's been taking up your gaming?
I've got a little list. First of all, Chrono Trigger. I have not completed it.
Oh,
And in fact, I've pretty much given up on it a little bit. I
oh
think.
no. Really?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, the thing is, it's taken me so long, and I've still got a little way to go, and I feel got kind of trapped in it because I don't really want to start anything new, and it just just became a little bit of a chore, to be honest. I like it; it's a good game. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I kind of got stuck on a boss, and I couldn't figure out how to do it, and I looked up sort of guides on how to do it, and I couldn't get them to work, and I'm like, I really just want to play something else. So I don't know. I might go back to it, but I probably won't.
Fair dues.
I know it's been a bit of an
not.
epic saga on this podcast. If you're a new listener, I've been last few episodes I've been updating you all on my progress through Chrono Trigger.
I was going to say I'm not going to pretend that's not the most anticlimactic end to your adventure with Chrono Trigger. But,
It is pretty anticlimactic, yeah. I know it is a good game. I just found it getting a little bit repetitive in the sense that it's kind of dungeon boss bit of story, dungeon boss bit of story. And I was kind of like,
it's
I've
not.
been, it is an RPG, I know, but I think I would have to say, and I know Chrono Trigger is really really popular, so I don't want to offend anyone, but I would say the characters and story didn't grip me anywhere near as much as Final Fantasy VII, which is the only other big RPG I've ever played.
You
So
can't name drop Final Fantasy VII in the hope that it will excuse you from references. Oh, it's okay. It's okay, lads. I like Final Fantasy VII. It's fine.
yeah, it works. It works. Yeah. Well, no, I know.
No, I
I
mean
know.
that's
I didn't take the decision lightly. I'll say
no.
that. I
I
wanted
mean
to continue with
RPGs
it.
can be if especially sort of really long, sort of 40 plus, 70 plus hour games. If
Yeah.
you can't commit to them and you're taking gaps in between playing, they can become a bit of a chore.
Exactly. That's right. I felt like I couldn't really take a gap because you can't really in an RPG
No.
because you just sort of lose where
You
you
lose
are
track of
really.
the story and and what you've been
Yeah.
doing and
Yeah. It's just. I mean, yeah. It's a shame.
yeah,
But I feel like I've got the most that I could out of it while still being entertained by it. Do you know what I mean? I didn't want
yeah.
it to drag out and to sort of ruin my experience with it. Really, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a shame.
Well,
Anticlimactic.
that's a shame.
Yeah, it's just the time thing. Really, I just can't really commit to these long games anymore at the
Yeah.
moment. Anyway. So I think I'm sort of making this kind of a New Year's resolution is to stick mainly just to 10-hour or less games next year and just see how it goes from there, really. So with that in mind, instead of Chrono Trigger this month, I've been playing Guacamelee on the PS4.
Okay.
Yeah, have you any experience with this game?
I've got it on. I think it was like one of the Xbox Live Gold games, like years ago, and
Okay.
I've got it on Steam as well. That I got in a bundle, but I've never actually played it.
It's really, really good. It's a Metroidvania, sort of where you play as a Mexican wrestler, and it's kind of set in Mexico. And it's kind of got a sort of Day of the Dead kind of vibe. Really, really good controls. I mean, just sort of running and jumping around, they feel absolutely perfect. That's probably what I like most about the game. Actually, it just feels really fun to play, and you go around sort of beating up enemies, and the sort of the moves and the kind of combos and the fighting mechanics just feel really, really good.
Hmm.
So I'd recommend it just for that alone. But the level design is really good. Some really interesting ideas in there.
So is it
Um,
kind of like what sort of beat 'em up Metroidvania, like clear a room of enemies, move on to the next,
Sort
or
of, yeah. You've got interlinked kind of areas in the game. So you have to go through one area, and you have to go through a sequence. So there'll be a mix of platforming and then sort of, as you say, like a room where you beat up a load of guys. Um, and yeah, it's just kind of it's quite straightforward, really. It's not it's a perfect game for me at this time, really. It's just you don't I can go back into it and just sort of go right back into it. It's not that complicated. You won't have to keep remembering stuff. So yeah, nice and simple. I can just sort of sit there and beat up these guys to my heart's content. Really, and it's good. It's a good game, definitely.
oh, excellent,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I'll definitely try it. Like I say, I've got it on. I got it on Steam. Definitely, I've got it on Steam. So yeah, I might give that a try.
I'd highly
If it's a
recommend it.
nice pick up and play one, then yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's got quite a lot of sort of references to Metroid as well. In Metroid, they have these things called Chozo statues, I think they're called, where you get your power ups and stuff. And in this one, they look very similar, and they're called Chuzo statues. So it's kind of like has like a little
Yeah,
nod to
little nods. Yeah.
little nod to its source of inspiration, which is quite good. It's got quite a good sense of humor about it. So it's a good game. Other than that, not much really. I got Soul Calibur 6. I actually got the Steam version
Okay.
because I quite enjoyed because they had a demo of it briefly on PS4, the online mode.
Yeah.
And I'm not a PS Plus subscriber, but you could play it on that, and I quite enjoyed that. So I thought I'll get the Steam version if I can see it at a good price. And on Black Friday, the CD Keys website had it for like half the price, so I decided to take advantage of that.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah.
Haven't been playing a lot of it, but it's good. I like it. It's got like a sort of story mode and stuff, and quite sort of in depth kind of character creation stuff. It's good. Good game so
Yeah.
far.
The character creation side of things seems to become a bit of a trademark of the Soul Calibur things.
Yeah, I think it's been around
Late,
for
hasn't
a
it?
couple of iterations now. I think, hasn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, looking back, I mean, what like the original sort of Soul Blade, Soul Edge, Soul Calibur.
Mm.
The trademark thing of it was the weapons based fighting, and I think that it tends to have taken, in my mind at least, I think it's taken a backseat, and it's more like the character creation and the customizable side of things. It seems to be more of its sort of unique selling point now.
Yeah, I think so. There's not many other fighting games around that you can really customize much, is there?
Not to the same degree, I don't think.
No,
No.
no, it's quite interesting because you when you play online, you can play other people's custom characters as well. That's quite cool to sort of see some of the creations that people have come up with. It makes it quite interesting because you don't feel like you're fighting the same characters over and over again. They have the same, they borrow the same move sets from the core characters, but it's yeah, it makes it quite interesting.
I was watching a YouTube video. I think I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Super Bunny Hop, and they did a video detailing the actual history of the Soul Calibur timeline, like what actual historic events it was based on, and
Oh
things
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. It's well worth a watch. Very interesting.
Okay, that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this one the story seems to be sort of the original Soul Calibur. It's kind of it's sort of setting the timeline back to that time. I think I don't know the story of Soul Calibur 1 that well, but it seems to be in parallel with that, at least, or
Yeah.
like a fleshed out version of that, which is quite interesting. Because I was a big fan of that game on the Dreamcast, so it's kind of good to get that kind of, because I haven't I had Soul Calibur 1 and 2, but since I haven't really had much experience with the franchise since then, so it's good to get back into it.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
That's kind of it for me, play wise. Not a hugely busy month. But yeah, I've been putting a lot of time into our book club pick this month, which we'll talk about in a minute.
We will, yeah. I haven't put as much time into it as I would have liked, but I've put in
Okay.
I've put in enough to form an opinion.
Good. Okay. Cool. Is there anything you want to discuss before we go into that?
Is there anything? Don't know. Something about a Sonic film.
Sonic? What's that? I never heard.
It's like it's Hedgehog, Sonic the Hedgehog. I think it's a hedgehog. He's got really muscular legs though.
Yeah, well, just like real hedgehogs, you know.
Oh god, that film.
Jesus
What?
Christ.
I mean, I've made my opinions on Twitter sort of abundantly clear that I just can't believe that this. this Sonic the Hedgehog movie and the artistic decisions that have been made are just absolutely baffling to me. As a long-time Sonic fan, and the person I consider my go-to expert for all things Sonic,
Oh,
what is
thank
your
you.
opinion on this turn of events?
I like it. No, I
What are
don't.
you?
I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
no, it's terrible, isn't it? It's awful.
it's
I
awful.
mean,
It's
who in their right mind thought that would be a good idea? It's just ridiculous. There's an interview going around, and they kind of explain it in the sense that it would be difficult to take Sonic and put him in the real world because his style doesn't kind of mix. It would look a bit weird with real people, which I kind of get, but
kind of. But then the answer to that is don't.
exactly. Exactly. The best solution to that is don't do a live action Sonic film.
Just who's ever asked for a live action Sonic film?
Well, I haven't
No
personally.
one. No one. No
I
one
know.
wants. God,
I must admit, growing up, as a big Sonic fan, I always kind of liked the idea of my sort of hero hitting the big screen.
yeah.
Whatever you think about movies and stuff, it would have been quite exciting.
Oh,
At the
definitely,
time,
definitely.
just to sort of see a proper Sonic movement for him to be sort of everywhere for a little while. That aspect I've always kind of liked, and a part of me always, on the when the sort of the rumors of the Sonic movie first came about, a little bit inside of me was kind of excited about it. But as you've heard more and more about this ridiculous movie, it's kind of like, yeah, this is not what I'd imagined. Yeah,
Live action. I mean, it didn't work for Mario Brothers.
no,
It's not going to work for you,
didn't.
is it?
That amazing Mario Brothers film that is regarded as
The cinematic masterpiece it is. Just beggars belief. And
Yeah.
did you read the quote about how they've had to give him separate eyes because they didn't want him to have one giant eye with two pupils?
Yeah, because that would be ridiculous. That's just taking it too far.
Exactly. I like my blue hedgehogs to be realistic.
Yeah,
My blue talking sentient hedgehogs to be as realistic as possible.
yes,
The whole thing is just ludicrous. Well, at least we're on the same page with it.
yeah, true. Do you know what? I'm not even gonna, because some people, I'm sure, I haven't really read any people's comments on it, but I'm sure people are getting angry and irate about it. But it's just not worth it. I'm not that bothered about it, to be honest.
I can't get irate about it. I just find it so stupid. It's just so dumb.
It is
It's too dumb to get angry about.
Do you think there's any chance, with the amount of backlash there has been about this, that they would actually, considering that they've apparently only a couple of months into post-production and Sonic is presumably entirely post-production, do you think there's any chance that they will scrap this version and just go with something more?
Absolutely not. Did you see they basically doubled down on it again with the Paramount uploaded a thing to their I think it was their Facebook or Instagram or something like that. Of Sonic's muscular legs.
Yeah, I did see this.
Holding up a sign saying, "Can't a guy work out?"
Yeah. I did see that. It's quite funny, in fairness. But
I was going to say, I mean, fair dues, but
yeah.
Oh no, I think what is there? I just think it's going to get worse. I think when the film comes out, it's going to be. I lack the vocabulary to describe.
One thing I'm intrigued about is Jim Carrey as Dr. Eggman. I'm curious to see how that's going to pan out.
This sounds so bad. Okay, so I think we're both in agreement that this is not for us.
No, it's a shame. The little kid in me has sort of died a little bit now. But
I mean, look at the Sonic Mania animations that they uploaded.
Yeah,
and
fantastic.
How charming and entertaining they were.
Yeah.
They could have gone in that direction. But,
yeah, I know. There's that. There's Sonic Boom is very good as well. Actually.
Yeah.
Really good, really funny cartoon. I mean, it's possible. It's possible to take Sonic and put him in. I know these sort of shorts are completely different from a big movie, but it's possible to put him in that kind of environment, that story based film, and do something with him. But I don't know. It's a shame.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Sega never failed to
Well, I don't know.
Astonished with their decisions.
I mean, obviously it was their decision to okay the movie, but I don't know. It seems like from what that interview said, they're not entirely happy with it either. Yet it's still kind of going ahead. They said something like, "Yeah, Sega weren't completely bowled over by," or something like that. What's going on?
I just remember hearing a story. I can't remember. I'm going to get there. I'm not even going to try and say who it was, but I remember reading the story about the development of Sonic the Hedgehog and how the original game and how it was, released really successful.
Mm-hmm.
And Sega of America went to Japan to the executives and put forward the idea of including it as a free pack-in with the actual Mega Drive console in order to shift more consoles.
Yeah.
And one of the executives was so outraged that he got up and left the meeting in absolute fury.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
I could just imagine that happening with this. They say, sir, they've separated his eyes. What? What?
And that's not even the worst part. Keep looking down. I could just imagine someone looking at it on like a 56k modem and like the top loads, and it's like, those eyes are a bit weird, and hang on, what? Whoa, Jesus Christ, what the hell have they done?
Just gradually loading the image step by step.
Yeah, I know. By the way, if you happen to have not seen this, there's two images, aren't there? There's one which is like a sort of a shadowy outline of him. You can kind of make out his general body shape, and there's another one where he's sort of it's just a shot of his legs basically sitting on top of Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco.
Yeah, and there's the one with him on kicking back on the car with.
Is that real? Is that the real?
Yeah, that's real.
So that's what he looks like. Yeah. He looks like a big cuddly teddy bear, doesn't he?
He does look a bit like that. He looks really out of proportion. Apparently, that was an old model, though. Apparently, there's a lot of speculation that his model would have been updated a lot since then. That was kind of like a placeholder.
Yeah, I did think that wasn't kind of in line with the outlined one, so I wasn't sure.
No, because he had fairly normal legs in that one.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, but he's got like regular red trainers on, hasn't he?
Yeah. And he's got blue arms and legs. I mean, didn't that cause a lot of furore in the community when Sonic Boom came out?
Oh yeah, people don't like the blue arms. No, stay away from the blue arms.
They really didn't like the blue arms.
It's because it's always been whenever you've seen a picture of Sonic with blue arms, it's usually someone who's got the colouring wrong. Like someone's done like a crappy kind of licensed picture of Sonic, and they haven't bothered to check that he's got yellow arms. I think that's what most people associate it with,
Yeah, I think people have been so astonished by the legs that they haven't really stopped to think about the colouring of the arms yet. So we've still got that.
Yeah, once they get over the legs, we'll move on to the arms, and then just generally other body parts, and just yeah. Right. Anyway.
Okay, so let's move on from Sonic.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to stay with Sonic for 1 second, if you don't mind. Have you seen this Sonic Humble Bundle kicking around?
Yes.
Yeah, it's quite good actually. It's
not bad.
Yeah, I've got a list here, and I'm going to tell you why I'm mentioning this in a second. So Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic CDs, Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing, Sonic Racing Transform, Sonic 4 Episode 1 and 2, Sonic Lost World, Sonic Mania, and Sonic Forces. Hi, sorry, Ollie here, just in the editing suite. There's also Sonic Generations in the bundle as well. I actually picked this up because although I own almost all of these on Steam already from a previous bundle, I didn't have Lost World, Mania, and Forces. Mm-hmm. And Forces is actually the only ones I don't own at all. But I thought it was like £11 or something, and I thought it'd be worth picking up just for the modding alone, because the mods, the Sonic Generations has some really
Generations,
good mods.
The realistic Hedgehog mod on Sonic Generations is brilliant.
I haven't seen that one actually. That sounds amazing. Sounds as good as a Sonic movie. But they've like imported all the Sonic Unleashed levels in and stuff like that, and I think there's a lot of good Mania ones around as well. So I thought I'd pick that up. But the reason I say this is, all of the other games from this bundle are up for grabs.
Excellent.
if you want any of them, you're more than welcome to. But I thought what we could do is any others that are left over, we could give to our listeners, who are our sort of devoted podcast listeners. And what I will do is I'll say a key word in a minute, and if you can tweet us or email us back that key word, you are welcome to one of these games. What do you think about that?
I think that's a brilliant idea.
Yeah. The only thing we need to do is find a key word.
Okay. Do you have one in mind?
I don't actually, no.
Okay.
I thought something might come up from this point in the podcast. So we could go with
we're basically doing this on the fly then.
We're doing this on the fly, yeah. So it's kind of an idea I had very last minute, to be honest. I don't know, some muscular legs or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Muscular legs. Okay.
Should we go with muscular legs?
Muscular legs. So the next time you hear muscular legs in the podcast, then you tweet us. You what? So you tweet us with a time code of when it is, or?
Oh, we could do that. What I was just going to say is all they have to do is tweet us back muscular legs, because at this point they're already listening to the podcast, so they can just tweet us.
But I mean, when we were discussing Sonic earlier, I mean, the normal reaction for someone listening to that would be to immediately exclaim "muscular legs" as soon as we discussed it. So they might be saying that before they even heard there was a competition. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
We got to make this fair for everyone. We can't just have someone,
Okay.
just jumping in early.
I didn't want to put people off too much that they have to sort of find an exact time. That's the only thing I would say about that. I don't know. Okay, let's go. Let's not do muscular legs. Let's do.
I like muscular legs.
Okay, all right, fine. Let's do muscular legs. All you have to do is just tweet us or email us back muscular legs.
Yeah.
And you will get. Well, you have your choice of Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic CD, Sonic and SEGA All-Stars Racing, Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transform, Sonic 4 Episode 1 and Episode 2. And Sonic Generations as well. And I also realised later on that I forgot to tell you our email address and our Twitter account. So that's podemup@gmail.com, and our Twitter is @podemup. Please send us your muscular legs. Thank you. So you can have any one of those, one per person. First come, first serve, one per person. And yeah, does that sound good?
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, and then we can publicise it and maybe get a few more listeners, because we'd really like more listeners.
If that doesn't draw the crowds, I don't know.
Well, exactly. Yeah, put aside your sort of concerns about the Sonic movie and enjoy, a decent Sonic game.
If muscular legs is a good enough marketing, gambit for Sega, it's good enough for us.
It's good enough for us. It works for us. Absolutely. Okay. All right. Well,
what's next on the schedule?
Next. Well, I mean, we've got two things to do this episode, actually. And this we haven't mentioned this. This is a bumper episode. This is we're going to talk about Diddy Kong Racing in a minute, which is our book club pick of the month. But we're also going to do the Pod'em Awards, the first annual Pod'em Awards, in which we pick a favourite game from the year that we've looked at.
What are they called again?
The first annual Pod'em Awards. Stop. Oh god. Okay,
God.
Okay, we're experimenting with some new software here. Yeah.
Seamless. Okay.
Cool. Back in a tick.
Diddy Kong Racing! Race start! Wow!
Welcome back. You were just listening to the title music of our book club pick, Diddy Kong Racing. This was developed and published by Rare. It had a worldwide release in November 1997, and there was a Nintendo DS port in 2007. This is an N64 game, by the way, didn't mention that. And a typical price is fairly cheap. It's around sort of £10 to £20, either the cartridge or the box version.
Surprised me.
Surprises you?
I thought it'd be more expensive than that. Yeah.
Yeah, I did as well, actually. I think it was quite a well publicised sort of game. You know, got around a bit. Yeah. It's a kart racer. The kart racer starring Diddy Kong. Yeah, and it's I've got a lot of history with this game actually. It actually sold me on buying an N64. I went round my friend's house, and he got an N64 and he got this game, and I ended up playing it quite a lot. And I don't know what it is about it. It's something about it just drew me in. It's just a lot of fun, and I really liked it. And yeah, I just got the console and the game myself because I liked it that much.
That feels a bit rubbish, to be honest. No, I didn't. I was just getting my revenge for the medieval.
I thought you might. Yeah. I thought this was coming.
Yeah, no. I feel it's really good.
Is it? Oh, good. I'm glad. I wasn't sure which way you were going to go. I thought.
No, I really enjoyed it.
Oh, good. I'm really glad. Yeah. So it's a kart racer. It features cars. It features planes and hovercrafts. It stars Diddy Kong with a load of new characters. And Conker and Banjo. Their first appearances in the games. And then a load of other new characters as well that only appeared in this game. The story's pretty wafer thin. A giant wizard pig has come down from space to cause chaos.
As they do,
and you must defeat him by challenging him and his henchmen to some races and race your other friends as well for no real reason. Doesn't really need much of a story, to be fair.
It doesn't need a story. No.
It doesn't need a story. No. I haven't structured this very well. What should we start with? Let's. It's got an adventure mode, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say that I think the key thing that sort of differentiated it for me from other sort of kart racers was the fact that there is a sort of story, adventure mode, something a bit more to get your teeth into in single player rather than just selecting a track and
That's
just
right,
going
yeah.
through a sequence of tracks. I mean, there's something a bit more to it, and a bit, just makes a single player mode a little bit more compelling than just racing against bots all the time. That's what you're doing, but you know what I mean? It gives it a bit more structure.
Definitely. I mean, it's invariably compared to Mario Kart 64 because it was sort of released around the same time. It was. I think they sort of built it with that in mind to compete with that. And I always found Mario Kart. I really like Mario Kart games, but they are very multiplayer centric. I think that's where their force really is. So it's really nice to get one that really puts a lot of emphasis on the single player as well. Because most of the time that's what I was playing. I would occasionally play with friends, like the friend I mentioned before, but most of the time I was just sitting playing it by myself. And it's great to have an amount of actual content to go through. You kind of it reminded me a bit of Mario 64. You've got a little kind of grassy world to explore. It's not very big, but it kind of links up all the. There's 4 worlds to start with, each with 4 races in it, and this kind of hub world kind of connects them all up. And they're kind of gated by these balloons that you have to collect. There's a few lying around the adventure world, but generally you get them from the completing the races and completing the challenges and stuff. And the more you get, the more you unlock, and you kind of progress through the game that way. There's so you start off in the dinosaur world. Fairly basic kind of dinosaurs walking around. And yeah, pretty standard stuff. Moves on to a snowy world, a kind of a tropical world, and a kind of sort of medieval kind of castle kind of world. How far did you get in this out of interest?
I think I did the first 2. What was Bluey was the last boss I did, I think.
Oh, the sort of walrus chap.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
I think that was the second. I think it was the second world.
Yeah. Okay.
So I got about 8 or 9 tracks, I think. I
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that'll give you a sense of certainly the game. I mean, it doesn't sort of change much from there, but it does sort of keep offering you some interesting challenges. Did you do the coin sort of versions of the races as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that basically you go into a world, you race the 4 sort of courses individually. At the end, you get a boss, and I like the bosses. I think that's quite a good addition as well. You have a one-on-one race with this sort of large animal who's kind of, I think he's been kind of hypnotized by Wizpig or something. He's like normally like friendly, but whatever. And you kind of have, and they cheat it. They sort of jump the gun to start with, don't they?
Yes.
And they kind of leave. They kind of, some of them leave sort of obstacles lying behind you as well. Some of the later ones.
They're a bit cheap.
They are a bit cheap, and they are quite difficult. So,
yeah, they are.
Yeah, I like that. I like that aspect though. It's a good, to have a boss race was quite a good idea. I've always thought. But once you do that, you then have the other 4. You have to race the 4 tracks again, but this time there are 8 coins laid out across the track, and you have to not only come in first but collect all these 8 coins as well. I'd actually completely forgotten about this mode. I thought because I've played this. I know I've played the N64 version through all the way at least twice, and I think I played the DS port all the way through as well. But this was, that was 10 years ago, and the original was 20 years ago now. So it'd been a while. I have played it a little bits here and there since then, but this is the first time I ever really sat down and properly did the adventure mode.
Yeah.
So I'd completely forgotten about this coin race. So that was because I don't remember doing it. So that was quite a challenge for me. Normally I'm quite, I know all the courses really well, but having to grab the coin. They're not particularly well hidden. It's just because there are often multiple routes on these courses.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to. It's difficult to get all 8 of them in the first lap.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you have to sacrifice it a bit. You have to go a little bit out of your way, and then usually one of the competitors will sort of race past you. It took me a couple of goes sometimes, I must admit.
Yeah, more than a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you say, it's not that they're hidden. It's just you've got to be quite adept at the track to really nail it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So if you do all the races in that world, then you get to challenge the boss again for a harder race, and these are pretty difficult actually. That they will take you a few goes. But then once you've done that, you've unlocked the world, and you do it for all 4 worlds, and then you unlock a boss against Wizpig, who is really tough. And then after that, you then have to go back and do all the trophy races, which are the Grand Prix, in each of the worlds. Once you get that, you go to the lighthouse, and that lighthouse turns into a spaceship, and it follows Wizpig up, who's left the planet, and you got an extra world called the Future Funland, which is the best. That's actually got the best tracks in the game. So there's four extra tracks at the end of the game, and then you got another final boss after that once you've done all the coins and everything. So there's a fair bit of longevity.
I was going to say, yeah, there's quite a bit of content in there. I mean, I obviously didn't not really scratch the surface there with the like I say, I only did the first sort of 8 or 9 tracks. So
I'd recommend carrying on if you can find the time, because it's a really really good game. It's
really good fun.
Yeah, I mean, you've got we haven't really talked about the cars and hovercrafts and planes. I think this is a really good selling point for the game, because there's I guess Sonic Transformed is the only one.
I'm going to say, I think when we talked about Sonic Transformed in a previous episode, we started talking about Diddy Kong there because of the similarities in the vehicles.
Yeah, I think in that one so the vehicle transforms, doesn't it? So you will go to a particular point, and that will be an aerial area, and then you go to a car area. In this one, you're given one of those vehicles, and you race it throughout the whole race. But if in adventure mode, they're always the same vehicle. If you choose the option where you just pick your own track, or do a multiplayer one, you can actually pick which vehicle you use in certain tracks. So, and you can, if you're doing multiplayer, I believe one player can pick, say, a plane, and one player can pick a car, which is really cool.
That is good, yeah.
Yeah. So, there'll always be there's often like routes for a plane that are too high up for a car to reach, for example, or you can go across water on the hovercraft. So there's a fair bit of depth to it. the tracks are somewhat simple, but there are these sort of multiple routes and interesting areas to the tracks that you'll only get by checking out the other vehicles. So I think they all handle quite well. How did you find the general handling of the
It was good. It was good. I mean, I think I'm very used to the Mario Kart handling.
Okay.
I've spent so much time playing the various Mario Karts that it's kind of I'm hardwired into sort of Mario Kart handling, and if I play different kart games like let's say Diddy Kong or Crash Team Racing and things like that, I sort of naturally expect it to handle like Mario Kart, so it does take me a little while to adapt. But it's really good. It's one of the better handling kart races that I've played.
Which character did you favour? Did you have a
I like
favourite,
Conker.
or did you? The Conker, yeah, he's good. He's awesome in a hovercraft.
Yeah.
I normally favour Pipsy, the little mouse, because she's really good handling in the car. Like, she turns corners really tightly. I tend to favour her for most things. And I was actually in that race with that walrus boss as Pipsy, and I couldn't beat him, and I couldn't figure out why. I just didn't seem to be going fast enough. And I thought, okay, I'll try another character, and I tried Conker, and he just sort of blitzed it. He was awesome.
That would be the one thing I would say. I mean, I'm going to have to ask your opinion on this because I only played it against a computer and I haven't played it sort of against other people. How's the balance on it? I mean, are there characters that if you pick them, no one else has got a chance, or if you pick a certain vehicle, are you sort of going to win by default because you're so overpowered, or is it quite well balanced in the way when you're playing against other human opponents?
I think it's pretty well balanced. I don't think there's any. I mean, Pipsy works for me, but maybe other people find other characters better. Apart from sort of her handling, I think generally it's got it's as well balanced as any other game, any other sort of kart racer. I think the vehicles all have their strengths and weaknesses. I think even though the plane can go higher places and is a bit more what's the word, vertical, I guess, I don't know, but apparently it's got the slowest speed. So if you want pure speed, you're better off going with, I guess, a car. But then you've got those options with the plane, and obviously it depends on the track. Different vehicles will be better for different tracks, and some of them don't even let you. They'll only lock, say, Hot Top Volcano, for example, is a plane only course, whatever mode you're doing it in. So it's not, but there quite a lot of them have all three on offer, or just two of them.
So generally, it's quite balanced, and you're not gonna lose out if you're not gonna get sort of railroaded to everyone just picking the same characters every time because there's no point picking the other ones. Do you see what I mean?
I don't think so. It's been a while since I've played this multiplayer, quite a long time, but I don't think you'll find too many problems.
That's good.
Yeah, it's very good. The music, I absolutely adore the music in this game. It's just it was written by David Wise, who I think does a lot of the Donkey Kong soundtracks, but this one is my favourite of his. It's so ridiculously catchy, and it's one of my favourite game soundtracks.
I think the Rare soundtracks are always pretty top notch.
They're really, really good. They got some great composers. Banjo-Kazooie is another great soundtrack. I can't fault the soundtrack at all. Very, very good.
I think there's definitely going to be some good music in this episode, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just trying to see what else I've got written down. Is there anything else that struck you about the game?
Not really. I mean, I think I was always sort of drawing parallels and sort of comparing and contrasting with Mario Kart. And I think in terms of gameplay and handling, and I don't know how much of this is nostalgia, I think Mario Kart is still still peaks it to the post, pips it to the post, whatever the saying is. It heads it out slightly as being my favourite kart racer, I think. Okay. But I was surprised how much I did, because I did enjoy it. Because I guess I have played it before, but I've always considered it a bit of a just an also ran to Mario Kart. You know, it's just another kart racer at the time. But it surprised me quite how much I did get into it, and how much of its own personality it's got. It's definitely not just a clone of Mario Kart. It's definitely got its own personality and its own ideas and its own thing going on. So yeah, I think there's two sides of the defense where people are going to be. It's superior to Mario Kart. I think a lot of people say that, and I think a lot of people will prefer Mario Kart. And I think I definitely prefer Mario Kart slightly, but yeah, I'm happy to have been proved wrong. That it's not just a clone.
Yeah, it's interesting, the sort of the clone debate, because I'm trying to think how many kart racers like Mario Kart there were at the time. I don't think it had really sort of exploded, or was it just sort of started to explode? Because over the years there.
Yeah, it was starting to. There were a few cropping up, and there were others that were kart racers. But I mean, there was a game called Scars, which was basically a kart racer, but without the character side of things. It was just like these buggy type things. There was Street Racer, Crash Team Racing. So it's not like there were thousands of them, but they were starting to. You know, there were more and more of them cropping up. It was one of those things where Mario Kart, it reached a level of popularity that a lot of people were going like, "Oh, we could do that." You know,
yes, I think so. Especially with that second version, that was starting to when it became a series. You know, I think. Yeah, you're right. A lot of people said we've got these mascots handy anyway. Let's make a kart racing game out of them.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think you have to put the effort in, like this game does.
Yeah,
you can't. You have to offer something a bit different. I think it's not enough. Even at that time, it wouldn't have been enough to just have a very generic kind of simple tracks with just cars, for example, and nothing, nothing more than that. Do you know what I mean? I think even then you had to sort of stand out like this game does and offers something that others don't. Are you more familiar with Crash Team Racing as well?
Yes.
Does that have an adventure mode? I have a feeling it does, doesn't it?
Yes.
Sort of similar thing.
It's kind of sort of it's similar sort of thing.
Okay.
They're just like it's similar. The handling, I don't really like. Again, I'm going to upset people, but I don't really like the handling in Crash Team Racing. That's the thing. Okay. I like the characters and I like the music and I like the whole setup of it, but I just didn't get on with the handling with it. I just kept banging into the walls.
I haven't really played. I have played it a little bit, but I haven't played it enough to have a really have opinion about it.
Yeah,
but it's getting a remake as well, isn't it?
I was going to say it's getting a remake, so it might be worth as put it on the list of something to cover in the future.
Yeah, sure. I think I'll probably be picking it up because it looks quite good, and I like a good kart racer. So yeah. There's power ups. We haven't mentioned power ups.
We haven't mentioned the power ups.
Every good kart racer needs a power up system. This one's got quite a good system. It's balloons, different coloured balloons. So you've got red balloons are your sort of missiles, and green ones. Is it green ones? I think they're green ones. Are your sort of leave behind.
Yeah, that's like
your oil slicks and stuff like that. The good thing is you can upgrade them. So if you get 2 red balloons in a row, you get a homing missile, and if you get 3, then you get 10 regular missiles. Which I thought was a really kind of nice risk reward system. You can either sort of, if you've got just one regular one, you can either try and aim it, which I often try to do and usually fail. Try and line up your target straight ahead, or you can just hold out for that homing attack and then sort of use that instead. Yeah. So I thought that was quite interesting.
It's definitely it's like you say, it's the risk reward. Are you going to fire off the missiles straight away, or and hope for the best, or are you going to try and save up the balloons and risk falling behind in the race a bit? And it's a really neat system. I don't know if any other sort of racing game had done that kind of thing before that, where you can sort of stack the power ups.
Not that I can think of, no. Yes, it's a good idea. You also get like boost ones, blue ones, and then there's sort of less useful ones, like there's a magnet and like a shield, which I never really use. Yeah. The other aspect is you have to avoid other balloons. If you're trying to build up, a stack of the red ones, for example, you then have to actively avoid the other balloons, because if you get them, then that will ruin your stack. So there's that aspect to it as well. So yeah, I like the power-ups. They're good.
And the bananas.
The bananas, yeah, they're a bit like the coins in
I'm
Mario
going to say
Kart. They
they're
give
like
you
the coins in Mario Kart. The more you get, the sort of it increases your top speed and things like that.
That's right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I just want to talk a little bit about the DS port. I had this. But I briefly played this as well via emulation just to see the difference. And there's a lot more differences than I remember. Actually, it's kind of a remake. That all the tracks are the same. Because it's by this point it's just Nintendo. They've lost Conker and Banjo because they're Rare owned. So they replaced them with a couple of Donkey Kong characters. But a lot of like the general menus are different. They've added a lot of sort of gimmicks to it. A lot of people don't rate it, to be honest, and I think the controls handled very differently as well from what I briefly played. So that was a bit of a weird one. But otherwise, that's the only port or the only re-release of this game there is. It's never been released digitally. I think possibly because of these tricky licensing issues, because the game kind of sits somewhere between Nintendo and Rare.
Yeah,
really, doesn't it? And because Rare is owned by Microsoft
and...
now, it's a difficult one because they can't. Again, licensing ruins everything, doesn't it? Really,
it really does. Yeah,
it's just another sort of nod for emulation, really, isn't it? You don't have you don't have to worry about these issues, But yeah, it's a shame. But as I say, despite that, the game is still relatively cheap, which is surprising actually when you consider that.
It is, because it is one of the sort of defining games of the N64, I think. So the fact that you can still pick it up quite cheap. Usually, like the big name games that you associate with a console tend to attract the most money for in most cases.
Sometimes I think it just depends how many of them they made. They obviously made quite a lot of them. I think. I mean, you think of GoldenEye, that's one of the biggest sellers, but because they made so many of them, I think GoldenEye is very cheap.
Yeah.
So it's a similar deal, really. But yeah, it does vary. It doesn't quite work for the SNES either, because the SNES, all sorts of SNES games, popular or unpopular, are quite often very expensive, aren't they? So it does vary from console to console, doesn't it?
It does.
Just trying to think of anything else to say. Really, it's I mean, I love it. It's one of my certainly one of my favorite racing games, definitely. Playing it again, in full for the first time in a long time, it's lost none of its charm. Really hasn't. It's I love the characters. I love the sort of little sound effects that they make. The music, the track design, the colors, the the sort of the general environment graphics. It's just it's just a really charming game. I'd recommend it to anyone. I really would.
Yeah, I would as well. I really enjoyed playing it again.
Good.
Like I say, I've only played it in fits and starts before, so to actually sit down and give it a bit of time, I'm quite happy to give it a full recommendation.
Excellent. The only other thing, because in my notes I have a little section called Curios in which I mention sort of odd things. There's anyone who knows this game as well as I do will be familiar with the little laugh that occurs at the very, very beginning of the game when you boot it up. There's like a little child's laugh, and
I've heard this fact before. I think I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, if you play this game a lot, you will be able to recognize this laugh everywhere. Like, it's in TV adverts, TV shows, movies, all sorts of things. This obviously is a common sound effect, and it just sort of pops up all these random places wherever like you see kids like running around. It just throw in this sort of default kid laugh sound effect. And I found something online a little while ago that it's kind of as official as it can have. It's called the Diddy laugh based on this game, because this is where you hear it most prominently, I think.
No, that's
which is a really interesting thing. Yeah, there was like a whole blog about it, I think, of someone trying to find as many cases they could of the laugh being used. It's really weird. And I think apparently no one really knows where it comes from. It's just one of those sort of odd kind of royalty-free sound effects that even the guy who put it in the game doesn't know where he got it from. And it's just quite interesting.
Really
yeah. It's just one of those things. And whenever I hear it, whenever me and the wife are just sitting watching TV and I hear it, I go, "Oh, Diddy Kong." It is literally all. Once you're familiar with it, you start hearing it everywhere. It's really weird.
Wow.
So yeah, Okay, I think that's a resounding recommendation, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
Cool.
I get to pick the game for the next show.
Yeah. Do you want to do the awards first, or do you want to do that first?
I don't know. Like I say, I think we're doing this on the fly a bit, aren't we? So
We are a bit, yeah. Professionalism.
Yeah. How do you want to proceed?
I thought we could do the awards first, because then sort of leave that as like a little on coming up next time kind of nugget at the end. What do you think?
Okay. Yeah, the nugget plan is fine with me. Okay, so let's take another quick break, and we'll come back with the first annual Pod'em Up Game Awards for
Indeed.
Good games.
For good Bottom Up Gaming Awards for general good games.
For general good games.
Yeah. And we're back. We've just had a fairly funny discussion about
just basic
general
directorial discussions.
general well preparedness for this feature, really. But anyway, before we get into that feature, I've just realised I've forgotten to. We put out. I went on Twitter and asked a couple of people comments about Diddy Kong, as we tend to do with these games. I've completely forgotten about that, so I'm going to read out these couple of comments before we go any further. So, from RetroAz at Timson72. My favourite thing is the hub world. It had a Mario 64 look and feel about it, but better because you could drive, fly, or hover your way around it. The power-ups were good, and how they got stronger if you picked up multiples. So similar sort of thing to what we were talking about.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So thank you, RetroAz. And also Mr. 831. This person also played it for the first time, almost alongside us, actually, just by coincidence.
Really?
So I thought that was
That's
interesting
awesome.
to get his opinion.
Not inspired by us. It was just coincidence.
Oh yeah, nothing to do with us. I don't think he was particularly aware of us,
Oh.
if at all. But yeah, because I looked to see people tweeting about Diddy Kong. A lot of them were because this was around the time that the Crash Team Racing game was announced. So it was interesting to see the comments about people saying, "Oh yeah, Mario Kart's better, Diddy Kong's better," just having a proper war about it, basically.
Well, he's still welcome along for the ride.
Yeah, absolutely. So I liked it overall. I think it's aged a lot better than Mario Kart 64 and put a nice twist on the kart racing genre by having a single-player adventure mode. The adventure mode did get a little repetitive at times, and the bosses could have been better, but solid overall! Exclamation mark.
I think that's fair. That's fair.
I think that's a very fair comment. Yeah. So thank you, RetroAz and Mr. 831. You will not be getting a prize because we don't give out prizes. Sorry. Anyway, moving on.
Unless you happen to tweet us muscular legs.
And you have to write it out as just like that, if you can. Once again, tweet or email us muscular legs. I don't think at the time we gave out our Twitter handle or our email, did we? I mean, we will at the end anyway, but
for the muscular legs, no, we didn't know. But
I don't think we did.
I mean, presumably, if you're listening to us, you found us somehow, and that we'll make sure our contact details are in the show notes anyway. So if you just check the show notes on your podcast app of choice.
Yes, and we're going to do it at the end anyway.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, right. We'll get better at this, don't worry. Eventually. Anyway, with that all said and done, it's now time for the Pod'em Up Awards. You didn't fancy doing that sound effect again, though?
Oh! I thought I did it. I just do a trumpet with my voice. Here we go. Hang on.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, the trumpet of the voice was equally effective. I love how it repeats. Why does it repeat? Why would you want it to repeat?
I genuinely can't think of any situation where you'd want that just to repeat itself. They've got this one as well. Hang on.
Okay.
Just to add a bit of tension to proceedings.
Okay.
So, Game Awards.
The Game Awards, right. Okay, so basically this is... right, we did... how many games did we do? 7, 8? I think, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, we did 7 games because our first one didn't feature a book club pick. So just to recap, in June we played Sunset Riders, which was my pick for the Mega Drive. Following that in July, your pick was The Firemen for the Super Nintendo. I followed that up in August with Klonoa, Daughter Phantom Mars for the PS1. Then Ghost Trick, Phantom Detective on the Nintendo DS.
So good.
In October, Power Stone for the Dreamcast.
They're all good ones.
November, Medieval, your pick. And December, Diddy Kong Racing. So, they're all good ones, yes.
So this is going to be a difficult...
Yes, but we have a very mathematical way of working out which one is our favourite, as we've just been...
Please explain it to me.
Yes, I will explain to you. Basically, we have a number of categories, and for each of those categories, we will each pick our choice for the winner of that category. So each category will receive 2 nominees, or 1 if we pick the same one. So... each of those games will receive 1 point per nomination. So, no, hang on a minute. Yeah, so each category... there's 2 points up for grabs in each category, basically.
Right.
Yeah, and you'll pick a game and I'll pick a game, and those games will get 1 point each or 2 points if they're both the same game. Does that make sense? Sort of.
Yeah.
You'll pick it up. We'll all pick it up as we go along, basically. But then there is a final favourite game category for which 2 points are up for grabs per person. So if it's the same game, that game will receive 4 points. Anyway, we'll get to it. Don't worry.
Okay.
Don't worry. It's all cool. Okay. So the first category is Best Graphics, and this is...
Can I just say, are you familiar with the Adam and Joe show?
Vaguely. Yes.
Do you remember they did a sketch called Quizzle Stick?
Yes. I've seen this.
I'm vaguely reminded of Quizzle Stick, I have to be honest.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, no, we'll carry on. We'll plow on.
Hang on. I just realised I have no method of tallying this up. So let me get.
Okay. I've got.
All right. Oh God. Hang on. Right, hang on. Notepad. Notepad. Where's Notepad? Right, how am I going to do this? I need to write these out, really, don't I? Oh shit. Okay.
There goes our family-friendly rating on iTunes.
So I have my list ready, and I'm going to tally them up as we go. Right, so first, are you ready?
I'm ready, let's do it.
Okay, right. So first category is Best Graphics, and this is... by the standards of the system that it's on. So not compared to each other, just whatever you think has the best graphic. What impressed you most for the system? So what is your pick for best graphics?
my pick for best graphics is Ghost Trick
Okay, awesome.
because of
Awesome
the
choice.
animation, the incredible
Yes.
animation.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a very, very good, very worthy pick. It would be my honourable mention because I'm going to go for Klonoa.
Oh, okay.
Because I think I really liked just what they did with the mix of sprites and
Yeah.
polygons. I think it was a nice sort of really colourful world. they they did they picked the best graphical style for the hardware limitations. I think they made the models quite nice and simple for like a simple kind of simple world. But the sprites were really nice and sort of detailed, but in keeping with the same style in a sense. So yeah, my pick for that is going to be Klonoa.
Okay.
So just to confirm, Klonoa gets 1 point and Ghost Trick gets 1 point as well. Okay,
Excellent.
simple. Okay, right, good. Next category is best music. For me, it can be none other than Diddy Kong Racing. As I said earlier, it's one of my favourite game soundtracks of all time. I can't really pick anything else. It's just so catchy. It's so memorable. It's so fun. There's so many tracks from this soundtrack that I really enjoy. So yeah, my pick for best music is Diddy Kong Racing.
Okay. I'm gonna have to pick Ghost Trick again.
Okay. Did have very good music, did Ghost Trick.
I'm just thinking of all the games we've played, which games I will regularly listen to the soundtrack on away from the game. So just when I'm walking around, listening to music
Okay.
on my phone or whatever.
Yeah.
What soundtrack I've listened to more often than any of the others in the list, and it's Ghost Trick. So I think on that criteria alone, I think the best music has to go to Ghost Trick.
Absolutely. Similar for me, actually. I do have the Diddy Kong Racing soundtrack and I do listen to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's if you've got a soundtrack that is worthy to be listened to on its own away from the game, then that alone is a recommendation enough. Really, it's it's what I love about game music. Really,
Yeah.
it's both of those are great choices. Really, Ghost Trick has a great soundtrack. I like how as we said at the episode at the time, each character has their own theme to sort of really tie it into the story scene. So yeah, great choice.
Excellent.
I would say other good choices in the list. Sunset Riders had a really good soundtrack.
Sunset
I would
Riders,
say.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Mega Drive sound, and that one uses it really, really well. Some great sort of music you can really ride a horse to. Power Stone as well had a pretty good soundtrack too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think all around. I think looking back again, it's something we mentioned at the time. I think probably the only game that we've played where the soundtrack not only really didn't stick with me, but I thought was really let itself down a bit was the Fireman.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah,
So I
definitely.
think there's been a strong showing from all the games we picked except for the Fireman. I think the soundtrack really could have been a bit better with that one. But
yeah, must do better, Fireman.
yes.
Okay, so moving on. Best story.
You picked first on this one.
Well, it's kind of a no-brainer, really, isn't it? I would say
Yeah, that's what I'm
Ghost Trick.
Yeah, I'm going to say Ghost Trick as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe otherwise Medieval had probably the deepest story compared to the others. It seemed that way. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely got a the story is a main part of the game. It's it's integral to what you're playing in the game, and there's obviously a lot of thought and gone into the characters and things. But
Yeah.
It's nowhere near as compelling as Ghost Trick.
No. I mean,
it certainly didn't keep me wanting to play the way Ghost Trick did.
No, as I said, yeah, exactly. Me at the time, I found myself wanting to see more story scenes than actual gameplay. But towards the end, I mean that's it was very gripping story, very cleverly written, great characters as well. So yeah, fantastic story on Ghost Trick, really, really good, absolutely well worthy of both of our picks.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree.
This next one, do you want to still do this next one, or?
I gotta be honest, because I know what your answer's going to be. My answer is probably going to be different.
Okay.
So I don't know. We could do it.
Let's just do it. Let's do it.
It could skew the overall ratings, but yeah, let's do it. So you have created the category of best individual character.
Best individual character.
No, I can't think of why you would have done this or who you would pick, but please surprise us.
Okay, it's Detective Cabanela from Ghost Trick. If you
I'm
listen to that
shocked.
episode, you will
Shocked.
you will recall my unusual man crush towards this particular character. But no, seriously, he is a fantastic character, and in a game filled with fantastic characters.
Yeah.
Just that intro alone was so funny. He's a detective, but he's dressed like he's going to a disco. He's so cool. He's suave. He dances his way onto the crime scene. He's just incredibly likable.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, so best character, Detective Cabanela, which wins another point for Ghost Trick, obviously.
Yeah.
So how about you?
I would like to pick a character from Ghost Trick, but I think the problem with it is they're all so likable. They're all the characters are they're so endearing.
Yeah.
And I'd struggle to pick one above the other. So I'm going to go for a character that I think stands above the rest of the ones in the game that it's in. So if you see what I mean. So I'm going to go for Sir Daniel Fortescue from Medieval.
Okay. I thought you would either go for him or Missile from Ghost Trick.
If I was forced to pick a character from Ghost Trick, I would go with Missile. Yeah. But like I say, I like all the characters in Ghost Trick so much, so it would be difficult to pick one from there.
Okay.
So
that's fair.
I think I'm going to give it to Sir Daniel Fortescue. I think he's got a very unique character design. I think his story arc is very likable, and he's just a charming little guy. He ain't got a jaw, but he just gets on with things. He's nice.
He's a likable character, definitely.
Yeah, he's a good egg.
There's an element of humour to him as well, I think. Yeah, he's a good character. Okay, cool. Scores so far: Klonoa 1, Medieval 1, Diddy Kong 1. Ghost Trick 5. So a certain game is steaming ahead at this sort of halfway-ish point. But yeah, you've given some love to one of the other games there, at least. Yeah, very good. Best level design. This is probably one that doesn't go to Ghost Trick just because of the.
Oh, really?
No. Well, I mean, no, maybe it could. I was thinking more of it's story based, but I suppose it could, couldn't it? That's not going to be my pick. My pick would be Klonoa.
What's best level design? Okay.
Best level design, yeah. Because I think I really liked how the levels sort of varied quite a lot in terms of their structure. I mean, I remember one level was more sort of like almost like a Metroidvania, where it's just kind of like quite labyrinthine, and you kind of have to wander around a bit. Others slightly more linear. You have to sort of diverge off to these different pathways to get keys to come back. I really liked it in general. I thought it was of the games, I thought it was probably my favourite in terms of level design. It might just be because of the I really love platform games, and that's kind of what I associate most with level design as a sort of topic. So maybe that sort of swayed it a bit, but I think I would say Klonoa for that one.
No, that's a good choice. I think instinctively my choice was Ghost Trick, because I love the whole Rube Goldberg machine aesthetic that they've got going on. How intricately all the levels have been designed, and the way all the elements interact with each other. And if we're talking pure level design, I think that's what immediately jumped out to me. Okay. I really don't want to sound like I'm deliberately picking one of the games that I chose as my best
of course
in all the
not.
categories. But
no.
I think.
So you're going with Ghost Trick?
Okay. I'd be being dishonest if I said I thought it was anything but Ghost Trick.
No, that's fair. To be honest, everything you said makes complete sense now. I don't know why I didn't think of Ghost Trick for level design. I think I was just so caught up with it being a story-based game that I kind of forgot how intricate and detailed those levels actually were. Yeah. And they are very, very well done. So I kind of didn't even think about that. When I was picking these categories, I was kind of trying to balance them out between the different types of games we had.
Yeah, to give all the games like a fair shot at.
Yeah, but I've inadvertently given another one to Ghost Trick there, really.
I know. I promise it's not deliberate. It's just
no.
It's
okay.
Where it's going.
It looked like it was going that way anyway. To be fair, so anyway, we'll carry on. There is definitely a winner steaming ahead here. The next category is this is the title that we don't like, but we can't think of a better title. and it kind of references to a previous podcast. This title is called Best Deep Game. I think this was in the Power Stone episode where we called it, not meaning to be insulting, we called it shallow in the sense that, it was a nice quick pick up and play game.
Yeah, you don't have to get really bogged down in it. It's shallow probably wasn't the right word in the way that deep probably isn't the right word, but hopefully people understand, what we mean when we say.
Yes, absolutely. One's more of an arcadey kind of experience. The other one is a kind of much longer, sort of involved experience that you will play. You'll play all the way through, and then you probably won't pick it up again for a number of years, if ever. But an arcade one you can sort of keep coming back to, and it's still kind of fun, basically.
Yeah.
But this one is for the best sort of long term kind of game. So what would be your pick here?
It's got to be Ghost Trick.
Same here. Sorry, everyone else, but yeah. So that brings Ghost Trick up to 8 points.
They've
now.
all been good games, but it's got to be Ghost Trick.
I think it has really, yeah. I mean, it was a fairly long game. There was a substantial story to it, and it kind of kept me gripped. And I think that's sort of the definition of a deep game, really. I think the only other one would be probably Medieval. Even though I personally didn't get on massively well with that game, I know you did, and I can certainly see the depth to it.
I'd probably say Medieval would be my honourable mention or a runner-up for that.
Yeah,
but
certainly, yeah. Okay, unfortunately, honourable mentions don't get points.
No.
Okay, this one is definitely one that Ghost Trick can't win. Okay, this is best arcade game, and this is best shallow game, if you like, the arcade experience that I just described. So for me, I'm going to give that to Power Stone.
Okay. I'm going to give it to Sunset Riders.
Are you? Okay, that was an honourable mention. That was very very good choice as well. For me, Power Stone is just so much fun. The combat was it was really fun. It was really frenetic. It's a great game that you could just sit down and play for 10 minutes. Against the AI, which is all I did, was great. I'm sure it's even better in multiplayer. It's got a great system to it, great characters. Just a really fun sort of quick burst of an arcade game, really.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. If I was going, I think we're basically on the reverse there. So I would give my honourable mention to Power Stone.
Okay.
I think it's just the look and feel of Sunset Riders and how it plays. It's everything I think of when I think of a classic arcade game.
Yeah, definitely.
And it is just, I can imagine myself playing that in an arcade. I can imagine just putting coin after coin after coin and just giving it another go and trying it. So I think if you were to ask me to describe to someone the quintessential arcade game, I would more likely to say Sunset Riders than I would Power Stone. But I can definitely see Power Stone fitting into that category. But Sunset Riders gets it for me there.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. Sunset Riders, great arcadey game, really, really fun. One that I can definitely see myself playing again and again, certainly.
Yeah,
just coming back
definitely.
to it. Really good fun. So that leaves us with our final category, which is overall favourite game. And this one gets 2 points from each of us.
Okay.
So what will be your overall favourite game?
Well, can I just ask a question with regard to the scores?
Okay.
Because we did ask we put the question out on Twitter for people to give us their picks as well.
Yeah.
How are we factoring the people's responses into our scores?
I think we should factor them in, and I think they should also offer 2 points for their choice, their overall choice. Do you think that's
okay?
So they're almost like the third member of the team. Does that make sense? Okay.
So they're factoring it. So okay.
So their choice gets 2 points, your choice gets 2 points, and my choice gets 2 points. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So this is only for the overall. We're not doing that for the individual categories.
No.
Right. Okay.
Just for favourite
right,
game.
I'm with you.
Okay. So the Twitter people, the people on Twitter, have voted almost unanimously, which shows how many votes we got, maybe. But they voted for Klonoa, Daughter Phantom.
Okay.
So good choice. Excellent choice.
Excellent choice.
So Klonoa gets 2 extra points, which brings it up to 4. And for my pick, I was torn between 2, but I think I might ultimately have to echo their choice and say Klonoa as well.
Oh,
I really, really enjoyed that game. I thought it was I don't know what it's there's something very, very charming about it. I kept wanting to carry on with it. Really, it was challenging, but it was really, really fun game, definitely.
Oh, it's a superb game.
I will say, I mean, what I'm not picking here is a long time favorite, Diddy Kong Racing. I think because I know that game so well, I've decided to go from one that I don't know so well. And in the spirit of this podcast and sort of experiencing new games, I've decided to go for one that I was less familiar with. Because it's almost difficult to separate your nostalgia with Diddy Kong. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, am I voting for it because it really is the best game, or am I voting for it because I really like it from 20 years of experience, having experienced it. So I think for that reason, and because at the moment it doesn't seem to matter anyway, because basically we've already got a winner, I'm going to give some points to Klonoa. I think, yeah.
I've got kind of the same dilemma in that I know what I want to pick.
Yeah.
But I don't know, is that just because I have a deep affection for the game? Or is it because, I really think it is the best overall game that we've played so far?
Yeah. It's a difficult one, isn't it?
It really is. Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's academic at this point, I think.
It
like
is,
you say,
yes. Whatever you pick, it won't make any difference.
So I'm gonna go with my heart, and I'm gonna say Ghost Trick.
Okay, yeah, I thought you might, but well deserved. I mean, it's a great game. It really is.
It's not that I haven't enjoyed, the other games you've played.
No, absolutely.
Klonoa is, it's a very special game to me as well. I've got a lot of nostalgia for Klonoa, and I really loved replaying it. So it's a difficult one, but I think I have to give it to Ghost Trick on this one. I think.
Yeah. Should we look at the results?
Let's look at the results.
Okay. The only game that didn't get any points, sadly, was the Firemen. But that's not to say that it wasn't a good game, because that was still a good game. I like Firemen.
It's a very good game, but I mean the story was a bit thin on the ground.
Yeah.
The individual characters. Again, there wasn't they weren't they weren't characters you could really sort of relate with or really get into.
No.
The level design, I keep thinking that it was a fun game. There's nothing particularly wrong with the level design, but I kept thinking of that stage where the fireballs were coming up from the bottom, through the grating, and you could never tell where they were going to be, it's just too frustrating at times. So, yeah, it's a great game. I love it, but there were just too many little things that just made me miss out on any of my votes. I think.
Yeah, I think overall maybe the weakest of the bunch, but that's not to say that it isn't a good game.
No, I mean, if the Fireman's the weakest of the bunch, then that's a
a good bunch. It's a good bunch, absolutely. And then we've got 4 games equally with 1 point. We've got Sunset Riders, Power Stone, Medieval, and Diddy Kong Racing. Again, all good games. I mean, I know Medieval was the only one that I came away not particularly liking, but that's not to say that I wouldn't recommend you try it, because I can see that it is a good game. Do you know what I mean? Like it's appreciated, and there's got good elements to it. So absolutely, all 4 of those, very good games. As we've discussed when we discussed playing Diddy Kong this episode, Power Stone, I mentioned earlier, great arcade game. Sunset Riders, another one. So yeah, all really good. With 4 points, with a respectable 4 points with Klonoa, Daughter Phantomar. 6 points. And then so that's a great runner-up. But with a runaway 10 points and our official Pod 'em Up Game of the Year, Ghost Trick Phantom Detective on the Nintendo DS.
Excellent.
So yeah, Ghost Trick. Not surprised, really.
No.
I thought it might end up that way, to be fair. But
Yeah.
It's
I just hope that it really inspires someone. If just one person who listens to the show decides to give Ghost Trick a try, I mean, I'd be really happy with that, because I've talked about it on Twitter for years and years, and if just one person will listen to us, take our recommendation, if of all the games we've recommended, if you give Ghost Trick a try, I'll consider our show a success.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. It's a game that needs more attention, definitely. Because it is. I mean, I'll be honest. It's not typically the kind of game I would go for normally. It's the kind of game I would appreciate. It's good, but I tend to just sort of go for more sort of arcadey experiences. Especially these days, but I was blown away by how much I cared about the characters and how much I enjoyed the story. You know, how funny it was. The great animation that you mentioned earlier, great music, and great puzzles as well. And it's a really, really good game, absolutely. And this comes from someone who doesn't typically play those kind of games as well. So. And it certainly made me rethink the genre, I guess, really.
And I think that's one of the objectives I think we both had of the podcast would be to sort of experience games and things that we might not have tried, or might be aware of but never really gave a full chance, and just try and to find new things to play and new things to enjoy. So I think on all counts, I think it's a worthy winner. If any of the developers of Ghost Trick are listening, drop us a line and we'll get you a little certificate out in the post.
We will, yeah.
So we could do that. We could sort that out.
That would be hilarious, wouldn't it? That's a great idea.
That'd be amazing. I would love that. We'll prepare a certificate. We'll post it on Twitter, and just everyone, send it out to the devs, and let's get them. They've earned it. They need it.
Yeah,
it's only fair.
Definitely,
it's rightfully theirs.
Definitely. Oh yeah, no, I'm going to do that. I'm going to make a little certificate. Absolutely.
Yeah, excellent.
Cool. Okay, great. Well, that kind of almost wraps up our business, apart from the matter of our next book club pick for January, the first one of 2019, and that responsibility is with you, sir.
Wow. I'm going to pick a more recent game.
Okay.
I would say it's probably current gen, in fact.
Ooh, okay, interesting.
Are you familiar with the developer Game Freak?
Yep. Pokemon people, right?
Yeah. So I'm going to pick a game based on Animal Combat from Game Freak. Any ideas?
Yes.
That's right. It's Tembo the Badass Elephant.
Oh, I love this game.
Really?
Yeah. Do you know what? That didn't occur to me, because I knew I have Tembo. I have played it. I haven't completed it. I've played a few levels of it. But great choice. I didn't even think of that when you said Game Freak. I was scratching my head. What else? What else could it be? Because I know they've got a new RPG coming out that's currently called Town, which looks quite good. But I couldn't think of any other games, and apart from one that I have and that do actually quite like. But that's a great choice. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. I've played a fair bit of it. I really enjoy it, and at the moment, if anyone wants to join in with us, I think it's for sale for £2.50 on the PS4 store at the moment.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah.
it's no money's tight, just after Christmas. So it's a nice cheap game we can all get involved with. It's
Yeah.
nice.
Fantastic.
Falls within our keep it under 7 to 10 hours rule, and
It does.
it's I think we can all have a good time with it. So my pick is Tembo, the
Oh,
badass
I'm very
elephant.
excited about that. There is a Steam sale on at the moment, so I don't know if it's in that, but it might well be. It's worth
Oh, it
checking
might
that
be.
out as well. So yeah, I mean, like half the games are, so it could well be on sale there as well.
Excellent.
Yeah, definitely check it out. I actually have both versions, weirdly.
Oh, brilliant.
I did get the Steam version originally, but I only had my laptop. It didn't run very well, so I ended up getting the PS4 version as well when it was on offer. So yeah, fantastic. Yeah, as I say, I've played a few levels of it. I haven't completed it, so yeah, that'll be a good one. Yeah, excellent.
Brilliant. I look forward to it then. I'm glad it's an exciting start to 2019.
Yeah, brilliant, perfect.
So, should we wrap things up there? It's a very bumper episode this
Yeah,
this time, but I think you'll agree it's been an exciting first year for the podcast. I mean, it's
absolutely. Yes, that's the other thing to reflect on. I mean, we haven't done it the whole year. We only started in May, and it's been. I've really enjoyed it personally.
I've really enjoyed it. Yeah.
It's been really, really good. We've been learning on the job, as you can tell from this episode, but it's been fun. I actually quite like that element of sort of scrapping it together, and kind of.
Yeah, I do as well. I mean, I like it. It's just I like the informal style
Yeah.
that we've got. It is just us talking about games. Really, it's just I just wanted to do something about games.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's been really good fun. And I love hearing from other people, like the Twitter comments we've got. It's not like we've had floods of comments with the Twitter, but
No.
the people who've taken the time to share their thoughts and opinions on the game, it really does. It means a lot to me that people have taken the time to listen to the show and to give us their feedback and let us know what games mean to them and what they like and don't like about their favorite games. And it's just really awesome. It's just really good to have that interaction.
Yeah, absolutely. And I definitely encourage more of it. If you got any thoughts on Diddy Kong Racing, any thoughts on Tembo, any thoughts on anything else, really, please do get in touch with us. Our Twitter is at Podemup. Our email is podemup@gmail.com. Please use those contact details to tell us about the muscular legs. Tell us about muscular legs, please. Muscular legs, and claim your free Sonic game while stocks last.
Do they get one game per leg, or is it
one
pair of legs?
One game per pair of legs.
Okay.
So you can't say like muscular legs, muscular legs, muscular legs. No, that's not going to work.
Okay.
That's not going to fly.
I just wanted to clarify that.
It's worth clarifying. It's worth clarifying. One per person, one per pair of legs.
One per pair of legs.
Mm-hmm. Okay. On that note.
Okay. Well, have a good Christmas,
Yes,
and we will see you all in the new year.
Yes. Have a great new year. Enjoy the festivities. Enjoy the time with your families. Enjoy the time with any new games or consoles that you get over the Christmas period.
Exactly. Eat a cake. Why not?
Eat a cake. Do you like Christmas cake?
No.
No, I don't either.
No, I really don't.
No.
I was having this discussion earlier, and it's no. What a mess of a cake.
It's rubbish, isn't it?
Give me a Victoria Sponge.
Oh, me too. Fantastic.
I'm all about the
cake.
Victoria Sponge.
Perhaps we should do a separate podcast about cakes. The cake of the
Yeah,
month.
cake 'em up.
Cake 'em up. Okay. Listen out for that in the new year, folks. Cake 'em up. You heard it here first.
Cake 'em up.
All right. Okay. Have a great one, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
muscular legs.
I like muscular legs.